Okay guys, so the injectors are cleaned up. As I showed you in the last video, the ultrasonic cleaner will strip the paint clean off. So you can see, with these injectors that a lot of them, have paint missing. So what I've experienced in the past is that sometimes that can cause a grounding issue. At least I had that experience with my injectors, the green injectors for the XJ-SC, which are the Digitronic injectors. So as a precaution, I'm going to paint those injectors before I install them. I just basically, mask them off and basically punch a couple of holes in this box. I'm using this high heat sandblack paint, and I'm just going to quickly shoot them and let them dry before I reinstall them. So real quickly. So it's actually, this paint lays down really, really thick. Didn't expect it to splatter so much. I guess I'm going to take a couple of, go back a few. Yeah, this is really thick stuff. I don't like this paint. It's too messy. Look at that. Yeah, this paint's no good. It's kind of rubbish. But it'll do the job for now. It'll do the job for now. Yeah, this paint lays down really, really thick. I'm used to using Rust-Oleum, which works a lot nicer than this stuff. But it's fine. I mean, it'll do the job. Make sure that I've got covered everywhere. Look at that. Look how rubbish that is. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it to dry, and then once it dries I'll replace the O-rings and then reinstall them. Alright, thanks. Alright guys, so I got the injectors cleaned up. I'm going to have to replace some of these O-rings, so they work well, they're all balanced. I took some time and painted them, as I was a little bit worried that if I left them unpainted, they may ground. I ran into an issue when I was working on my XJ-12 coupe with that kind of problem, and I don't know whether these injectors would have the same issue, but I just wanted to be careful. But they also look better, you don't want it to look kind of grey. There's still a little bit of stickiness from the masking tape that you can see, but I will use, I don't know, maybe carb cleaner or lacquer thinner or something like that to just clean them up before I put them on. But so far And I'm glad that everything went together well enough. You can see this is an old O-ring. 3 of them have new O-rings. I'm not replacing the pintle caps because they all look like they're in pretty good shape. I do have a box full of O-rings and pintle caps and all the other stuff that kind of goes with them, but I decided I may as well leave things alone. These are the replacement O-rings, so they came out of my box of fuel injection and reconditioning deals. But I have used these O-rings in the past. I've used them on my 928. They worked okay. They didn't. I had no problems, so I guess they worked well. Like I say, either they work or they don't work. But what I'll do is I'll replace these O-rings, clean up the injectors, and then I'll meet you guys at the car, and we'll just go ahead and reassemble everything and start testing. Alright, thank you. Alright guys, so I put the injectors all back in. It wasn't really that hard. I hope you guys can hear me because it's really windy outside. But basically, I had to give them, put them in, and then use a rubber mallet just to tap on the fuel rail to make sure everything was seated down properly. After you install them, you have to put that clip on to make sure that they lock in place. Then there's so you do that for all injectors. All of them have clips, and then there's a bolt there, 1, bolt 2, bolt 3, and a bolt 4 that have to be locked in. And then after that, there's another set of bolts right here on the fuel pressure regulator. So this assembly has to be removed in order to lift the fuel rail because it bolts on the back of the fuel pressure regulator or the fuel damper. I don't know which one this one is in particular. As you can see, there's a couple of vacuum lines that I do need to replace because they're all old and perished. I'll take care of that as soon as I know that the car's running and it runs well. There's also a couple of other things that I need to button up. I just noticed that there was a hose that's disconnected over here from the coolant system that I guess needs to go back into the coolant reservoir. I'm thinking there must be another one because I see another entrance and I don't know where it goes, but I'll figure that out. So just put that, make sure that goes back on for now. Just stick that in there where it is. Maybe this is the other one, I'm not sure. Is this the other one? Yeah, this is the other one. Here you go. So let's just stick these two in there for now. I can put them in properly. So you see these two hoses, one was coming out of, I guess that must be the thermostat housing, and the other one was coming out of the radiator overflow return line. So I put these guys back on. I'll need to button them up later, but I'll take care of that later. Okay, everything else seems to be on tight, which is good. Round the back. Okay, so got the battery back connected again. Fuel pump is again rigged to this jerry can. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically pause the camera because I have a tripod. I'm going to set the tripod up and then I'm going to turn the camera back on, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can get it started. Fire in the hole. So it's running. It doesn't run too badly, but there's lots of smoke I'm getting from leaky valve covers. We're also seeing a decent amount of smoke coming out from the exhaust pipe. But all in all, not bad. You know, it's running. Alright, so the exhaust is pretty smoky, but you know, that could be because oil just went down through the rings and you know, it just needs some time to just burn off. Obviously there's lots of smoke where oil kind of seeped down the bottom of the block. It's getting warm. Alternator seems to be doing a good job. We've got good oil pressure, that's fantastic. Coolant temp sensor, I'm guessing, is disconnected. I got to figure out where that is. But you know, all in all, this is a very successful initiative. So I'm pretty happy about it. That's all I can say. So I'm going to leave it to run for a bit, and then I'm going to. Our steering's fine. I'm going to leave it to run for a bit and see if I can get it to warm up. I'm not going to leave it to run too long because I don't know what the temperature's like. But I'll let it see if it can burn off some of this oil. Then what I'm going to do is I'll move over and kind of talk about what I need to do next. But there you go. So it runs really well. So that's a great thing. What do I need to deal with now? So you saw it was a little bit smoky, but that smoke went away, which is great. It was just guessing it's just oil that got past the piston rings, and then under the hood it was oil that just basically, you know, seeped out the valve cover gaskets. Happens when a car's been sitting for a long time. It's, you know, that's kind of normal. I did shut the engine off because I was seeing, I couldn't read the coolant temperature. It was just showing that the gauge was just non-functional. I wasn't sure what the temperature was, and I didn't want to overheat the car for any reason. I don't think it, you know, it got hot or anything else like that, but I just wanted to be, you know, super careful. I do know that the car is low on coolant because I added. I just basically put the reservoir on, but I didn't add any coolant to it. So it has whatever it's got in the block, but nothing's in the reservoir. So I just wanted to make sure that, You know, I don't take any chances. I button everything up and then find the sending unit, make sure it's plugged in, and then move from there. So now that I know that the car's running and it's running pretty well, I'm ready to spend some money on it. So what I've done is I've already bought a sending unit. I need to get the gaskets for the fuel tank, the little clip. I also need to paint the fuel tank. So if you look over here, I'm going to turn the camera around. So this is the old fuel tank. I've already painted the front of it. So this is the part that basically mounts behind the, where the back seats would be, behind the back seats. You can see that somebody's already welded up a little spot over here. I just gave this a shot with some Rust-Oleum satin black, just to make sure it's protected. The guy who had it before me, the guy that was handling the sale, he actually took the tank out and sent it to a radiator shop, and they lined the tank. There's this this red stuff. I've seen it before. It kind of looks a little bit like the multi-purpose grease that you see, you buy in a tub, but it sets up like concrete inside. So I can't remember what it's called, something honey or something like that, but it's already been lined. Other sides needs painting, as you can see, and I'll get that taken care of before I bolt the thing back up. What else do I need to worry about? So I've got to take care of that. I need to buy some new bonnet struts, because the struts that are on that car are useless. I'm also going to need to get some vacuum lines, which I'll probably get today, just so I can make sure it runs properly. I did actually drive the car, so if you can see over here, maybe you might be able to see. I actually moved it out to this parking pad, just away from the shop. The reason for that is because I want to pull some of the other cars out and put it in way to the shop, so that I can work in light and I can work in an environment that where the lift is and everything else like that. So it drives okay. I mean, the clutch works fine, but the gear shifting is super sloppy. So I've got to figure out what shifter linkages need to be taken care of. What else do I need to worry about? Air filter obviously is no good, and I'll change all the fluids while I'm at it. But the air filter kind of looks really grotty. So that's really it. For now, just bonnet struts, so I can just work on the car without worrying about the hood falling over. And some vacuum lines, and then I'll when I plumb in the fuel pump, I'm going to have to cut the spade connectors off to put the holes in place, which I can take care of. That's no problem. And I also need to replace some of those fuel hoses, because I mean they look okay, but I'm in there already. I'm going to replace them. I'm not too fond of the hose clamps that they use. They're not fuel injection hose clamps, so at least on the side where the fuel filter, the side that comes out the fuel pump goes into the fuel filter and out the other end, I'm going to make sure that proper hose clamps are used for that. So with that said, that's pretty much it right now. So car runs great, not disappointed in the least. I'm going to fire it up for good measure, just to let you guys hear it one more time. But all in all, it runs great. Let's do this again one more time for good measure. So there you go. Starts nicely, revs okay, oil pressure's coming up, alternator is but it's an old car, and I think as long as you use a lead acid battery, they're quite happy at that range. Just need to make sure the coolant temperature is probably connected. I managed to break this as soon as I touched it. I wanted to see if the air conditioning worked, and as soon as I touched it, it broke, which is annoying. So I'm gonna have to get one of those, new one of those, or two new dials rather. But all in all, can't really complain. Wonder if the radio works. No such luck. Radio doesn't work. Well, can't expect everything, so it's okay. I'll live with that. Radio in the M5 doesn't work either. So, all right, guys. Questions, comments, let me know. Excited. So I'm glad that it worked out. Thank you.